So the chemotherapy I have to get is so toxic that if it was infused into, say, the vessel in my arm, it would actually eat through the vessel and eat through my skin and just like damage everything in its path. So instead they inject it right here where it can be released into the largest artery in your body right next to your heart and dilute into your bloodstream and spread throughout your body all at once. Hi, I'm Sarah from The Minimalist Mom. Welcome back to video 4 in my 6-part series about my cancer experience. Here are 10 ways that chemo destroys your life. Number 1, infection. It's obviously a huge issue. You can't be around normal people. You can't see your friends. You can't lead a normal life because you can get sick with things that normal people can't get sick with. You can get sick with things that people are carrying around all the time that they don't know they're carrying around. You can get sick from uncooked veggies and uncooked fruits. Number 2, low blood counts. So infection is part of this. Infection is caused because of low white blood cell counts. But in addition, you have low red blood cell counts and low platelet counts. I don't know why I'm saying the word counts. So I don't know if you've ever heard, I doubt you have, you can actually hear your heart beating, actually hear your blood pumping. I've had such low red blood cells multiple times. This is how I know I need blood, because I can hear it pumping in my ears. It's super surreal. It also gives you this soreness that feels like you have the flu, but it doesn't go away. Just so achy, so sore. And then low platelets bruise and bleed so easily. You could have internal bruising and bleeding. I would get so nervous even driving in the car because if there was any kind of, bump or an accident, you'd have bloody noses that would last for hours from like bumping a nose. So I can't imagine what would happen if I had some kind of impact due to a car. You could have spontaneous like brain bleeds. It's terrible. They're bad things. Okay, 3, sores. Sores throughout your mouth, down your throat, and throughout your intestinal tract. In my poo, I slept off this whole worm-like lining of my entire intestinal tract. Just like how you lose this lining in your mouth, it just causes sores in your throat and your mouth, and it's really awful. You can't eat, you can't drink, sometimes have to go to the ER for it. I luckily did not have a huge mouthful of sores. I would get, 1 or 2 sores every time, but some of us get a full mouthful, and it's really awful. Sores. Number 4, Chemo Brain. Okay, you can think this is fake, you can think this is stupid. No, literally a good portion of my vocabulary is in like this box that I can't access. Like I used to think differently and more quickly. There would be a word that I wanted to say and I knew it was a word and I couldn't access it, like as though it like didn't exist, but I knew that it did. And you just can't have an intelligent conversation. And it's so sudden that it's very uncomfortable and very scary. Number 5, bathroom issues. This was my number 1 painful thing, and I think it is for a lot of people. Drugs you take to combat nausea are often very constipating, but constipation wasn't the issue. It was like hemorrhoids, anal fissures. I spent hours just sitting in an inch of water in the bathtub that was burning hot, like as hot as I could get it to come out of the tap so that it would numb me getting on and off the toilet to try to let something out. It was really awful. I have terrible PTSD. I think it's finally fading now, but for a while, like it was so bad. I would get major anxiety every time I knew I had to use the bathroom. Throughout chemo, I would eat less so that I wouldn't have to use the bathroom. I would like arrange my day around having to use the bathroom. 6, nerve damage. I lost feeling in my hands and my feet on multiple occasions. Luckily, my feelings come back, but for many people it's an issue they deal with their whole lives. For some, I shouldn't say many, I don't even know what the percentage is. But during chemo, I couldn't feel my fingers and toes open or unlock things or any of that. That's really scary. Okay, number 7, hallucinations. One of my chemotherapies does something to my brain where it causes me to hallucinate and I'm not able to talk or walk. They had to give me something else at the same time to combat, but for the first, I think, 4 rounds of receiving that particular chemotherapy, I was literally like a vegetable. Like I would lie in the bed and nobody understood really that something was wrong until I was able to realize that I shouldn't have been feeling that way. That's how I knew something was wrong, because I started hallucinating. I would imagine the nurses coming in and I would have conversations with, and then all of a sudden they would actually walk in and I was like, whoa, something's super off. Because at first I was like, oh, chemo just does this to you. No, you are not supposed to feel like a vegetable. 8, wasabi nose. This is awful. During one of the chemotherapies called cyclophosphamide, basically your nose burns as though you've just stuck a massive piece of wasabi in your mouth. And it just burns and stings and like it makes you want to scream, get tons of Benadryl, and make sure I was sleeping so that I could Hopefully not. It would wake me up usually, but at least it was a little bit less. We did something else, but I can't recall. We slowed the rate that it was infused. Instead of infusing the bag full of chemo over like an hour, we like infused it over 2 hours. If you have questions about how to infuse cyclophosphamide to reduce the wasabi effect, let me know and I will be sure to respond to those questions. Okay, number 9, medications. So you have to take medications to combat the side effects of medications that you're taking for your chemo. I don't know. I don't even know when it ends. I don't remember how many layers. It's a lot. It's super ridiculous. But I just had like a whole slew of them. For nausea, for pain, and more for pain, and more for pain, and hopefully some combination would do it. Which leads me to number 10, bone marrow pain. There's a shot you have to take to force your bone marrow to produce white blood cells, and that shot causes intense, excruciating, throbbing, stinging pain in your bones to, encourage them to create this bone marrow that will make white blood cells. You just can't take hardly anything to reduce that pain. It's really awful. And you have to do that after every round of chemotherapy. So that's bad ones. So there are my 10. There are also others that I'm sure you've heard of. Obviously, your hair falls out. Your nails can fall off also. Did you know that? I had a lot of nail problems. Chemo destroyed your life. It's so bad. Basically, the game is, can you handle enough chemo that is required to kill the cancerous cells in your body before it's such a high amount of chemo that it kills your body? Does that make sense? And if you can take the chemo and it would prolong your life longer than the cancer, chemo it is. Next video will be all about radiation. If you're interested, please click the link up here. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's keep going. See you in the next video.